Hi, welcome to Talk of the Town. I'm Justin Riley, and we have a great show for you today. We're going to be joined by a traditional martial artist. He's going to be talking to us about what traditional martial arts is. Plus, we'll be joined by a financial planner, and she's going to talk to us about some advice for how we can better prepare for our financial futures. Plus, if you're looking for a place to take your kids or yourself to get some music or art lessons, you'll want to stay tuned because we've got a great guest for you. But first, I'm joined now by Jeremy Brown, who is the owner of Bad Apple Tattoo. Jeremy, welcome to our program today.
Hi, thank you.
Good to have you here. So I guess my first question is, how long have you guys been in business now?
We've been in business a little over 2.5 years. We opened up on East Washington, coming from Illinois just a couple years ago. We're doing really well, though.
And what brought you to Madison?
Well, I had to go somewhere big enough to support another tattoo shop, and also I had a no competition clause where I was before. And I love Madison. It's a beautiful town, so we came on up here and made it work.
Very cool, very cool. Now, some of us who are watching might be familiar with the process of tattoos and so forth and the equipment that's used. And myself, I'm not. Can you kind of give viewers and myself a little bit of an overview of what kind of equipment do you use?
Well, we use everything at our shop is 100% sterile, single-use, disposable. So we don't reuse tubes, we don't reuse anything whatsoever. It gets thrown away after each customer, and so you can be a little easier knowing that everything's going to be safe.
Yes, absolutely. Gives good peace of mind for your customers then. So the other thing that I've learned about you is that you guys do some custom tattoos, which is something that maybe not all tattoo places can say. Can you talk to us a little bit about what the design process is for creating a custom tattoo?
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of shops you do walk in and they just let you pick something off the wall, but at Bad Apple we try to do everything custom for each individual so that you don't run into somebody out and about that has the exact same tattoo. So you come in, you leave a deposit, have a consultation, and we draw up something completely custom for you and we get it done for you. That way it's your own original artwork.
And that makes sense because tattoos are kind of a method of self-expression. So why would you want to have somebody else's tattoo on your body? So yeah, very cool. Talk to us a little bit about the cost. How much does it cost for someone to go and get a tattoo? Give us a range.
The cost varies. The minimum at the shop is $50 and it goes up from there. It depends on size and detail, but we're always willing to work with people's budget. If they have a price range that they need to stay in, they can let us know that up front and we can draw something to suit their budget. Or we can also break up the tattoo into sessions and do payments in the sessions as well.
Okay, and do you guys do any piercings or anything like that?
Yeah, absolutely. We have a piercer named Izzy. She's there Wednesday through Saturday, and she does an awesome job. And everything, once again, is single use, 316L surgical steel, so you don't have to worry about irritations.
And obviously, to do custom tattoos, you need to have artists that are pretty experienced. Can you talk to us a little bit about the experience level of some of your artists?
Absolutely. Everybody in Bad Apple has been tattooing for quite a few years. We definitely have well over 30 years combined experience. Everybody there is very knowledgeable and very friendly and willing to work with anybody that comes in.
Very cool. Now I'm wondering if you'll indulge us a little bit and maybe talk to us about some of the more visible tattoos that you have and where they come from and what the meaning is for some.
Well, some of them, like this one, was just practice. I did this on myself early in my career, yeah. And I've got my knuckles say paid dues, and that's kind of about my career and everything that I've had to go through to get where I am today.
Sure.
So they all have a lot of meaning, some not so much.
Sure, and a lot of personal meaning as well.
Yes.
So when you said early on in your career you kind of practiced on your own, I mean, what made you decide that I want to go into business doing this and doing this kind of artwork?
I guess I was always into art ever since I could remember, and I guess the struggle was trying to find something where I can make a living and support a family, being able to do so, and I kind of stumbled into tattooing, and the rest is history.
And did you move up to Madison, or do you still have a shop that's down in Illinois? Are you completely?
No, yeah, I'm completely here in Madison.
Okay. Very
so
cool.
Yeah, this is the only location as of right now. We are going to be opening a couple others pretty soon.
Very cool. Well, Jeremy Brown, it's been so great talking with you today. Thank you so much for being here.
You too. Thank you for having me. It's been great.
And best of luck to you as well.
Thank you.
Jeremy Brown is the owner of Bad Apple Tattoo over on East Washington Avenue. Don't go away. There's more Talk of the Town coming up right after this. We'll learn about some traditional martial arts. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Talk of the Town. My next guest is Josh Trowbridge from Trowbridge Martial Arts Academy. Josh, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
So I guess my first question is, first of all, tell us what types of martial arts you guys teach over at Trowbridge.
We actually teach several systems. We teach Tung Sudo, which is a Korean stand-up system, specialized in self-defense. I also teach Gracie Jiu-Jitsu, which is a ground fighting system. And then we also do a full weapons program that combines Japanese, Korean, and Filipino martial arts.
Oh wow, you have quite a variety then over there. Okay.
Yes, we do.
So, and what sort of ages do you teach? I mean, do you have separate classes for kids and adults?
We teach everywhere from 4 to 104.
Okay.
We actually have separate kids and adult classes. The kids classes are from ages 4 to 12, and then the adults is obviously 13 and up.
13 and up. Who's the oldest client that you have? How old are they?
Currently, the oldest is in their 50s. My oldest student actually was in their 90s that I've ever had.
Was that a beginning student or somebody who had been studying for a number of years?
Beginning.
Okay.
I've actually had one that did the mixed martial arts program that I taught that had steel rod in his leg, 3 pins in his elbow. He was 70 years old and gave the 20-year-olds run for their money.
Really? Wow, that's incredible. So this is something that anybody can do.
Anybody can do it.
Awesome. Awesome. So talk to us a little bit about your martial arts background.
I've actually been training martial arts for going on 30 years now. I started when I was 3 years old.
Wow.
I've been teaching for going on 19 years. I started with my Tung Sudo training, actually for my dad, and I've trained in various systems throughout that time.
So this is really something that's been a big part, if not your entire life, for most of the time that you've been alive then.
Oh, definitely. That's actually how I met my wife. She's also one of the instructors at the school. She's secondary black belt. Both my kids train. Both my parents are masters along with me.
Do you guys ever spar, like when you fight, you and your wife or anything like that? Or?
Oh, we spar. It's fun.
That's got to be kind of fun at times. So, you are a traditional martial arts school. What does that mean to be a traditional martial arts school?
You'll hear different explanations of that, but what I consider traditional martial arts is that we don't train to compete. We actually train for self-defense purpose. So our primary goal is when we defend, on the street, I want you ready. So I don't care so much about the tournament.
Right, right. So, when you talk about the weapons program that you have, it's not something that's done to necessarily be flashy. It's done to be useful. Okay?
Correct,
Yeah.
correct. It's actually traditional. I do Filipino Eskrima, Kali, which is more of the sticks, the knives, different things, sword, staff.
What are some of the benefits of martial arts training? I mean, you mentioned self-defense. Can you talk to us about some of the other benefits of training with martial arts?
Obviously, self-defense is always the biggest one that comes up. The next one is health, dramatic health, whether it's getting into shape. I've had students that have lost 20 pounds the first 2 months they're with me, because sometimes that's the only exercise they get.
Right.
Medically, I've had improvement. I've had people with neurological problems. I've had people with severe arthritis. So that's some of those things we try to emphasize is the betterment.
Sure.
Self-control, especially for kids, is a huge one.
And self-discipline too.
Self-discipline, self-confidence.
Yeah.
That's probably one of the biggest things that not the person training, but their family and friends see is that self-confidence part.
Sure. And it strikes me when we're talking about the physical fitness aspect of it that regardless of whether you're doing punches or kicks or whatever, you're really using 100% of your body.
Exactly.
I mean, in everything that you do in martial arts, you're using 100. You're using it all. You're all in.
I've had marathon runners that come in and are astonished on how sore they are.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So, you talked a little bit about competitions and how traditional martial arts really doesn't focus on training for a competition. Is that something you do? I mean, do you ever have students that participate in competitions or anything?
Oh, we do. We definitely compete. It's not a requirement. It's not mandatory. We look at it as fun.
Yeah.
We travel and go have fun, and you actually get the chance to meet a lot of new people. I've actually personally competed internationally in the same tournaments. You have those same people every year you run into from somebody on the other side of the world.
Right.
That's that bond you develop.
That's really cool. That's very cool. Well, Josh Trowbridge from Trowbridge Martial Arts Academy, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Don't go away. When we come back, we'll hear from Holly from Monroe Street Fine Arts Center. It's Talk of the Town on CW57. Welcome back to Talk of the Town. My next guest is Holly Barris, who is the Executive Director of the Monroe Street Art Center. Holly, welcome to our program today.
Thank you.
So, how long has the Monroe Street Art Center been open now?
Well, we opened in 1997, so 18 years going on 19.
Wow.
Yeah, and our mission is to engage a community of learners in exploring the arts and developing the creative self. So as a community school of the arts, we just want to reach out to the community and try to achieve that the best we can.
Very cool. So it sounds like this is for kids and adults.
It is,
the
yeah.
greater community then.
Yeah, I'd say all ages. We do a lot of programming for youth, but we have adults
Sure.
interested
Yeah.
too.
And what exactly are some of the visual arts and music classes that are offered at Monroe Street Arts Center?
So we kind of work on two different timelines. We have the academic year, September through May, and we offer a lot of after-school art classes and toddler preschool art classes in the mornings, as well as homeschool classes. And those range from ages 5 to 13.
Okay.
And then we do some programming on the weekends. And then during the summer, we have our summer camps, which are for ages 5 to 7, 8 to 10, and 11 to 13. Those are visual art camps. And then we also offer a few music camps. And then private lessons are year-round. So we always have something going on, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And now talk to us a little bit about some of the private lesson opportunities that are available there.
Yeah, so we offer a wide array of music lessons. That's the most private lessons we offer, and that includes violin, viola, cello, flute, trumpet, harmonica, voice, piano, and guitar. I don't want to forget that one.
Right.
And that's always changing. We always try to be able to offer as many styles of instruments as possible, but not only private music, we offer private art lessons as well.
That's very cool. Describe to me a little bit what that looks like, a private art lesson. Are you sitting with a tutor and that you're working on different projects together? How does that work?
Yeah, it can take a few different forms actually. So it can be a one-on-one lesson. They're typically an hour long for private art. You pick whatever focus you want to do, drawing, painting, printmaking, and we match you up with a teacher that best suits those skills. But you can also make your own private art class. A 1 hour lesson, the fee covers up to 4 students in a class, so you can do it with siblings, friends, sometimes parents and children do it together, or people even organize a small party, a one-time event where they want to make a princess drawing or something for as part of a birthday party maybe. And so we can accommodate, up to 12 or 15 students in a private lesson.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it can be a lot of different things.
That's very cool. And you talked earlier in the interview, you talked about outreaching or reaching out to the community and being very involved in the community at large. Talk to us a little bit about what that looks like. What are some of the opportunities that are there?
Yeah, so we do that in a few different ways too. Something that we fund ourselves through our scholarship program is outreach to the Boys and Girls Club out on Allied Drive once a week. That happens right now just during the school year. We send a teacher out there and they do art programming every Wednesday to the students at the Boys and Girls Club, and that's been really successful because they don't usually have a dedicated art teacher at that place. Right. And then we are involved in a lot of community festivals, and like Monroe Street just started a farmer's market. We've been there doing some face painting. We just did Jazz in the Park at Wingra Park. We'll be up at Concerts on the Square. So we're involved in a lot of the community activities.
Yeah, you have a presence there and a lot of different community activities going on. Yeah. So you do some fundraisers. Talk to us about some of your annual fundraisers.
Yeah. So we are a nonprofit organization. So we do try to bring in as many donations as possible throughout the year. And one way we do that is through 3 fundraisers. One happens in February. It's called Artie Gras. It's right around Mardi Gras, hence the name. And it's an adult fundraiser where it's an evening of music and art auctions and silent auction, raffles. So we have a lot of fun activities and good music, good food. And then we do a play-a-thon, which is a student-focused fundraiser where the students get pledges out in the community to then play on a Sunday afternoon. The past few years we've had it at Crescendo Music Cafe on Monroe Street. And that money all goes straight to our scholarship fund to help continue giving out scholarships to students who are in financial need to either come to the Center for Art or Music. And then our last fundraiser, which is coming up here in September, it's September 6th of this year. It's called Claire's Event, and that's our family event where it's kind of like a family carnival. This year it's Cowboys is the theme, Cowboys and Cowgirls, and it takes place out in at Pasquale's out in Verona. I'm always very thankful to them for hosting.
Yes,
so,
very cool. Well, Holly Barris, Executive Director of the Monroe Street Arts Center, thank you so much for joining us today.
Great, thank you.
Don't go away. When we come back, Kathy from Fiscal Fitness will give us some fiscal advice. It's Talk of the Town. Welcome back to Talk of the Town. My next guest is Kathy Hankard from Fiscal Fitness. Kathy, welcome to the program.
Thanks, Justin.
So tell our viewers a little bit about your business, Fiscal Fitness.
Sure. Fiscal Fitness is a fee-only financial planning firm located in Verona. We help people shape up their financial lives. So we provide comprehensive financial planning. So that includes portfolio reviews, investment recommendations, tax strategies, retirement projections, college funding, debt management, Social Security strategies, just about anything related to personal finance.
Lots of stuff that maybe people, younger people especially, maybe don't want to start thinking about yet, like that R word, retirement.
Absolutely.
And having to plan for it, but stuff that you will definitely help them with.
Yes.
So, I'm just curious, talk to us a little bit about yourself and how you got started in this business.
Sure. I'm married to a great guy. I have 3 teenage children. I grew up in Elroy, Wisconsin, about an hour and a half north of here. Graduated from UW-Madison, actually, with a degree in electrical and computer engineering.
Oh, wow.
Did that for over a decade, and then just sort of wasn't fulfilled with that career and started thinking about what I wanted to do going forward. Really wanted to help people one-on-one and wanted to have my own business, but still use my math skills. So financial planning just seemed like a great fit. So I went back to school for that and then opened my financial planning practice early 2007.
And your practice being Fiscal Fitness, you've been open since 2007.
Correct.
Okay, very cool. And you mentioned that it's a fee only. What does that mean? Talk to us about what fee only means.
Right, so there's a lot of misunderstanding out there. So fee only simply means there are no commissions. So I'm not making any money on the sale of financial products, such as mutual funds or insurance, which is how many financial advisors are paid. I'd also like to clarify that my practice is fee for service, which means I'm paid just by the hour or the project. Most fee-only advisors are money managers. They have what's called an AUM model, assets under management, and they're paid by a percentage of an annual percentage of the portfolio being managed.
Okay, so so going kind of back to the mutual fund thing and people being paid on that, it's kind of to somebody who's not fee only, it's to their advantage to say, hey, this is a really hot mutual fund, you should buy into this, because then they get a bigger cut of that.
Exactly. So I just felt the fee only model just was going to work for me because it helps eliminate conflicts of interest.
Absolutely, absolutely. That makes sense. So what are some of the most common mistakes that people make when planning their finances?
Right. So there are quite a few, so it's hard to find. Limited. I think to kind of sum it up is a lack of education or just not being on top of your finances and knowing where your money is going. So that leads to other problems such as credit card debt, buying too much house or too much car, not saving or not realizing the importance of saving, not saving in the right places. And the other mistake I'd like to mention, because I think it's really important, is not having enough life insurance if you have people dependent on your income.
Yeah, very important, even for young folks to think about.
Right.
Yeah, getting a life insurance policy. So, can you give us, our viewers, maybe 2 or 3 pieces of really great advice that they can do? I mean, you talked about making sure that you save money and things like that. What are 2 pieces of advice that you would want to give our viewers?
Right. So again, this was hard to kind of narrow down. I think I have 3. So one thing is it's never too late to start. The earlier you start, the better, but it's never too late. No amount is too small to save. So even if you could start setting aside $10 a week and just watch it grow. The basic idea is you want to start saving more money so your money can work for you rather than you having to constantly work for money.
Right.
Okay. So the other thing is saving smart. So that means saving in the right types of accounts and with the right types of investments. So employer plans are usually the best place for many people. especially if your employer offers a match. That's free money. You absolutely should be doing that. A Roth IRA is also a great place to save.
Okay. And is the Roth IRA, does that require an initial investment and then it's something you can continue to make smaller deposits in, or
Right.
is that how that works?
It depends on where you open it. Some mutual fund companies will have like $1,000 minimum.
Sure.
Banks would have a smaller minimum.
Sure. Okay. Gotcha. And if someone is interested in your services, Kathy, how can they get started?
Thanks for asking. So the best place would be to go to my website, which is www.fiscalfitnessmadison.com, or shapeupyourfinanciallife.com.
Okay.
Will also take you there. And my process is explained on there. And if you really want to get started, there's a questionnaire. It's an initial intake questionnaire that I request from all prospective clients. If you get that to me, that starts the ball rolling.
Awesome. Kathy Hankard from Fiscal Fitness here in Madison, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks.
That's all the time we have for Talk of the Town. We'll see you next time.